Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video. This is part 3 of this trip in the Jaguar Project 7. First part I hope you watched was tour around Hampton Court, Concours and some of the star cars on there. Second video was the trip down here to Antibes via Route Napoleon and another little coal that we found on the way down as well. This part 3 is us going back to the UK, but there's one pass I want to do, and it's meant to be the highest paved road in the Alps, and it's the road that takes you down to Val d'Isère, a ski resort. If I just show you on a map. Just taken the roof down because it's 24-25 degrees here at about 10 o'clock in Antibes. I checked the temperature in Val d'Isère and it was 6 degrees. So it's going to be a bit of a shock when we get up there. But basically where we're going to go, we are in Antibes there, and we want to get to Val d'Isère by this pass here. Col d'Isère, here it is, 2,764 metres high. It's 9,000 feet high. Proper pass. Is not open for very long during the year because it soon closes off when Val d'Isère becomes a ski resort. So October time it's actually closed due to snow and doesn't open until sort of May time, so really a short window if you ever want to try it. It's part of the Tour de France as well, and I've always just want to see it, seen it rather than epic road type of pass. A few of you have asked actually on Instagram and Twitter how easy it is to drive the France and coming back to the UK with COVID and the tests. So I thought I'd just quickly mention that. Getting to France from UK is very straightforward. You have to fill in a form for the French side saying you declare that you've had vaccinations, you come straight through and you show your NHS pass to prove that you've been vaccinated. Going back to the UK is a little bit more complicated. There is a government form, the passenger locator form they term it, and it's on the government website, and you have to fill in all the details in there, and you have to put the number of the test, 2-day test, COVID test, that you have to pre-book before travel. And you also have to have a COVID test in France before heading back, which is very easy to do. It's €25 at any pharmacist in France. You sit outside, they have a fondue inside your nose, and you're meant to get the results 40 minutes later. So that's how it all works. So it's reasonably straightforward, but we need to crack on now. It's about 6-7 hours to the pass. So we're leaving the boat in Antibes, heading out on the road and onto some pretty scenic roads. I'm not exactly sure where we are, but we've now come across this one-way tunnel, 790 metres long, 3 metres wide, full of surprises this road. This is the D2204. And it is a completely mad bit of road, very scenic. It's been pretty empty. Of course, when we turn the camera on, we find a van, but really in the middle of nowhere. This is about as busy as it's got, with sort of houses and things around us. And it just cuts through, heading in towards Italy. Elevation was about 840 metres, I noticed earlier. Yeah, D2204. Yeah, there's a lot of sort of these roadworks along this valley because this is where all the devastating floods came through earlier this year, and it just destroyed a lot of roads around here. See that bridge all on its own there. There's the main bridge, and it's just been completely swept away. Completely swept away. They're having to rebuild it. It's pretty shocking just how much there is like this along this road. I'm not sure when if we leave the valley behind it might be alright. Yeah, there's another one here, isn't it? Look at this. It's meant to be where that lorry is, and that bridge has been swept away. God, imagine living here. I will never complain about the rain, heavy rain we've had at home. It's nothing like this region of France got. There's the bridge that was. Oh, it's all the way through here, isn't it? Probably should have used the Autostrada, but there we go. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Yeah, I'm very glad we're in a vaguely sensible car like this, like the Project 7, which has reasonable ground clearance, because this is bad. Like an area to stay away from while they rebuild all these roads again. Ending at the moment. Must be, we've done this for about an hour now. Hope, you know, climbing out the valley, but they go around a corner as more roadworks. Not a road for a Project 7, and I've got no way of escaping. I still don't even know if the road's open. The way we're being told to go by Waze, we have 18 miles to a roundabout, that's all I know. Basically made a road out of the riverbed to get you through. I would suggest this road should be described as road closed while they repair it. I guess the locals need to get through, and the satellite navigation system just sees a road open, but it's I'd rather be on the motorbike at the moment. Oh, it's no limit. Go flat out. God, barrier. Is that open? Is that road open? Nothing over 6 metres long, 3.5 tonnes, 2.5 metres high. Oh, is this road open? I just can't believe what's happened. we have been met with a definitely closed road. These guys are saying, Swiss guys, they read it the same as me. It said the coal was closed but the tunnel was open, and obviously not. And it's torturous, this route. I never wanted to do any of it again, and we've got to do the whole lot again. So we came off at Menton to do this red road to Cunha to get onto the Autostrada here. We are where the tunnel is, right where the border is, and there is no other turning to the right. We have to go all the way down to Menton, 2 hours. I'm not sure what we do now, but I am utterly gutted, fuming, and this is the worst car to be doing, look at it, doing these sort of roads on. Bloody hell. We're dropping back down to Ventimiglia at the moment after witnessing that devastation there is sort of north of Nice and Menton. They had that rain event. It was October 2020, and I hadn't realised just how much damage it had done to all these sort of valleys that then feed down onto the coastline. If you are trying to get up into the mountain at the moment, or up into the Alps from Nice, Menton, Ventimiglia, it's not nearly as easy as it used to be. There's a lot of patching up to do by the look of things. So what we're going to do now, drop down Ventimiglia, get on the Autostrada along the coast, because it is the wildest bit of motorway that I know. And then we're going to hang a left towards Turin, and then go up towards Mont Blanc and do the Mont Blanc tunnel and we're staying in Bourg-en-Bresse tonight. We've had to abandon all ideas of Val d'Isère because we just haven't got the time. It's 6-7 hours to Val d'Isère, another 3 or 4 hours on to Bourg-en-Bresse, where we're actually staying tonight, which is a real shame. There was 5 hours lost on that route up that turned out to be closed. Waze said it was open. I checked on Google Maps, that said it was open, but then I did check Michelin Guide on their app, really good navigation device that I have recommended in the past and didn't use on this occasion. That was the one that knew that road was closed near the top and not to take it. So I am kicking myself for not following my advice and using the Michelin app. When in France, I would suggest that the Michelin app is probably the one to follow. So all in all, not a great day, but Aosta Valley is always beautiful to go up there. It's the most scenic route. It's actually an hour longer to go that way than we could go along the autoroute into France to where we're to Bourg-en-Bresse. But you know what, I'm not very often down here in the Project 7, and I'd much rather go through Italy and go the scenic way. So that's what we're doing for the next, I think, 7 hours to the hotel from here. So plenty more to do, 400 miles or thereabouts. Time since I've got out the car on a Italian motorway, but that's what's happening at the moment. Everybody's got engines turned off. It's quite a scenic spot. We're on a viaduct, beautiful view out onto the Mediterranean. But yeah, this journey to Bourg-en-Bresse is getting from bad to worse. Of course, we've abandoned Val d'Isère and any thought of doing that pass. But now, I don't know, the motorway is closed somewhere. We just stopped for fuel and things up there. Quite a lot of lorry drivers at the service station, which is parked randomly everywhere. Never a good sign, but yeah. What I might do is just grab the camera, have a look at the dust we picked up on that road. See how wonderful this was looking. It's looking a little rally car like at the moment. Yeah, not good. As that famous saying goes, things can only get better. I wish they'd hurry up. It is warm now, it's about 28 degrees, so that bit's nice. And it's quite nice to stretch my legs. Right, what a time we're having. We're now on the Autostrada. If you look around here, look, there's navigation. We're just on the way to Turin, going up to the Aosta Valley. Given up with all ideas of staying on Bourg-en-Bresse tonight. We'll get through the Montblanc tunnel and stay somewhere there. I've never known a day when it goes so horribly wrong. But this, all around here, Turin, Aosta Valley, the Italians have a fairly liberal attitude towards speeding in this area. And I've forgotten how good this thing is at speed. It is absolutely locked on course at quite big speeds. The guy who developed this car, there's an RS6 coming up, I might just tag him in a minute. The guy who was in charge of SVO when this car was undergo was Paul Newsom, and he came from Williams F1. And I know he was very keen on the aerodynamics on this car to get them absolutely spot on, and it's very good indeed. Also quick. Quickly catch that Audi. I have a suspicion it might actually be quicker than the Project 8. Once you're up above like 70 miles an hour to 120, that sort of, when you're on the Autobahn, sort of important speed, this has got some serious pace. Well, Montblanc Tunnel, minimum speed limit is 50 kilometres, maximum 70 kilometres, and what is it, about 12 kilometres long. That's it. We've had a great trip up through the Aosta Valley. It was too dark to really see anything, but it's a great bit of road. You climb up tunnel and just see the mountains. I think it's a great bit of road. So we're going to disappear, go find somewhere to stay in Chamonix now, and hopefully we'll have a better day tomorrow. Well, morning from Chamonix. This is the hotel we found last night, Best Western. We tend to use Best Western as a group as a first call. We were booked into that one in Bourg-en-Bresse last night. A phone call at about 6:30 said, really sorry, we're not going to be able to make it. And they very kindly cancelled that booking. I couldn't book this one online, I think I got too late, but we rocked up here at 10 o'clock last night. No problems, 110 euros later. We had a room, we had a private garage, as you just seen underneath, which was good, so we didn't have to put the roof on last night, and yeah, it was all right. beautiful view of the mountains. I have to say, it's so uplifting. You pop out Mont Blanc Tunnel, you don't see any of it at night, but just to wake up in the morning and see that glacier coming down the mountain, and yeah, fresh air. There's a beautiful little chalet I noticed out of our bedroom window with a grass roof, a completely different scene to the madness of yesterday. I don't think I've ever had a day where the road plans have gone quite so spectacularly wrong as yesterday, with those sort of road closures and that nightmare with that other road being blocked at the top, and those two Swiss guys as well as me. We met some other English guys going up. I saw some Dutch guys going up the mountain as well. Why on earth they couldn't make it clearer at the bottom before you went up that pass, that it was closed, I don't know. But that cost us, I think, 5 hours, and we, by 6 o'clock, about 8 or 9 hours after leaving the boat, we'd only gone 80 miles. So yeah, just had to abandon everything last night. I'm absolutely gutted we didn't get to Val d'Isère and saw that highest pass across, which I'll have to do another time. But I really wanted to give the P7 some exercise over that. We did do Route Napoleon on the way down. Went into Italy and had the craziness of those Autostradas around Turin, where everybody seems to get their speed muddled up, whether it's kilometres an hour or miles an hour. It's a very quick section. It's bizarre how that particular bit, but I remember it from Evo days. That's where we used to do the top speed runs and things if we couldn't get to Germany. So plan today is basically, it's a 900 kilometre hoof back to Eurotunnel. I've put the roof back on. There's rain forecasts across. There's some showers just out of here, and then around Reims there's showers and stuff. Now what I think I'm going to do with this video, because it hasn't exactly gone to plan, we'll do perhaps a little bit of scenic here. We'll see how the time goes. It's 9:15. I have to be back tonight, unfortunately, otherwise we might have diverged, had another stay out here. But what I'm going to do, get back to the UK, and then I'll do a roundup on the trip and what I've discovered about the Jaguar Project 7 after, I hope, about 2,000 miles by the time we get home. So anyway, we're all packed up, roof is on, and it's time to get going. You have to be careful with speeding in this first part of the autoroute as you drop down from Mont Blanc. It's a 90 and this is a 50 zone, and I have been fined after the event that arrived in the post during this section, and it's a complete pain. But I can sort of understand it, because I can remember going down here before the speed limit was imposed, and this was just a racetrack down here, and you can see it's pretty narrow, nowhere to stop, and it's all a bit silly really. But 50 takes some doing on a motorway, and 50 kilometres an hour, so that's 31 miles an hour. Well, as you can see, we're back in the garage. Total journey of the trip down to Antibes, 2001 miles. We averaged 53 miles an hour and 28.6 mpg. Yeah, I had hoped on the way back just to add in a little bit more dynamic sort of route up through France, but as we turned off the autoroute where I was planning to go, the heavens opened, it started to rain, it was into cloud. I thought, do you know what, after all our luck on this journey back, let's just get back to the UK and not do any more, just go straight on the autoroute. So hence we came straight back here. There's nothing really to cover in the journey. But I thought it's a good opportunity. I've owned this car for 6 years. I've just done that 2,000-mile journey in it to go through the sort of likes and dislikes of the Jaguar Project 7, what I've learnt during that ownership. And I'm going to start with the dislikes first. I suppose number one dislike is the size of it, weirdly. You think it's a small car, but I find when I'm behind the wheel and tacking the road, going on a track day or something, it sort of swells. It's bigger car than you expect it to be. I'm actually aiming at an apex. Something gets in the way, pillar, mirrors, something. You're not quite sure where that front wheel is. But I checked the dimensions of it. It's 4.5 meters long. It's 1.92 meters wide, which is almost identical to the current Porsche 911, the 992 version. It's slightly wider. I guess part of it is the fact that it's a great big supercharged 5-litre engine under there, and trying to get that package in here isn't so good. Funny enough, I'm going to just open the bonnet, just something I want to mention about the engine as well. Yeah, it's a front hinged bonnet. Something that always struck me on the engine is there's an enormous amount of space between the engine and the bulkhead, and I sort of wish that engine was a bit further nearer the bulkhead just for better weight distribution. I don't really feel it behind the wheel, but it's just one of those things I observe. And I also think as a really special engine, I wish it was dressed more. I keep thinking about taking this cover, supercharger cover off, and doing it in red crackle or something. I just think it would look so much better. Not a dislike. I suppose the fiddly roof is a dislike. It would be nice if it was on a button, but as I said in the video, it only weighs 8 kilos, and that is super light compared to having an electric roof under here. But I suppose it's the fiddly bit, the fact that I've got 3 elements here to do as well as the roof. As I say, it does fit behind the seat. Well, that's handy. So that's the windscreen elements here, fit behind the seats. And it just annoys the hell out of me. There's a great big void under here that is inaccessible unless you do a little tweak, which we'll come to in a moment. And then a final dislike is the weight of it. Yes, it's the lightest F-Type V8 you can buy by a lot, 200 kilos or something, but it's still heavy. These wheels, I can remember I was shocked the first time I took the wheel off. They weigh an absolute ton, these wheels, and I don't particularly like the design, and I sometimes think about changing the wheel to something else. I'm not a fan of black wheels. I've done these in a slightly sort of smoked metallic just to lift it a little bit rather than actually flat black as they were when they came from the factory. That sort of helps, but they are crazy heavy wheels. In fact, the whole unsprung weight thing is a bit odd on it, and I know there's probably at least 5 kilos I could save each corner by changing the wheels. Now, let's go on to the likes. I think my main like with the Project 7 is its multi-purpose. I can use it for all sorts of things. It makes a great track day car. I don't use it enough on track, probably because the Project 8 is in the garage as well. It's a great touring car because it's so easy to live with, that multi-purpose bit with the automatic gearbox, the cruise control, the quiet exhaust, and then you can go a bit nuts up in the mountains as well. Quite a few of you have commented that the exhaust racket is completely over the top. That is entirely optional. You as the driver decide if you want a noisy exhaust or not with a button in the cockpit. So if you don't want all the pots and bags, turn it off. So that's the sort of thing. I like its multi-purposeness in that way. The other thing about it, even after 6 years of owning this car, if you're really on it, it still feels a bit scary. And I think this is a good thing. It is over-engined, overpowered for the car it is. And if I look at its rivals, as I did in the previous video, it's the torque. Someone said, oh, what about a 812 GTS as a rival? Yes, that's 789 horsepower, but it's also 1,700 and something kilos heavy, about 200 kilos heavier than this. But this has a better torque to weight ratio than an 812 GTS, for example. So that's what gives it such a wild ride. And then it's got the carbon brakes that are completely trustworthy, solid pedal, never run out, very consistent power of the brakes as well for controlling this wild streak of it. Now I'm going to mention that roof again. Yes, it's fiddly, but it sort of it's like having a classic car. This is not an everyday car. I use it for special occasion and doing trips. Therefore, I will put up with that roof For what it is and the price point, it feels very special. Going on to running costs, the mean streak in me adores the running cost of this car because there's nothing particularly exotic. It's a Jaguar F-Type. It has standard service intervals. I service it every other year and it comes out at £200 or thereabouts a year to service after 6 years, of owning it. And I remember getting to the 3-year period thinking, Christ, it's out of warranty. I must get something done. Nothing. There was never been an engine light on or a warning light or anything gone wrong with this car in 3 years and now 6 years. It just works. Another thing I like about it, it's just tough. We did that gravel road where that road just petered out and we had to go across there. The one thing I'm never worried about is the wheels, sort of potholes, suspension under duress on rough bit of road. I mentioned this on that Jaguar F-Type P450 test I did, that at Jag Land Rover, they have the same sign-off standards for potholes, curb strike, these sort of things on a Land Rover Defender as they do on an F-Type Jaguar. So that wheel is never going to bend. I don't have any worries, concerns that if you hit a pothole or whatever, and I like that toughness about it that's also reflected in its sort of reliability. And then the other thing I like about it, after the mods, it's just the practicality of it. As I say, I've cut this bit away so I can access that void, and that's where I can tuck the roof away. So there's that thing. That's the roof in its little box. But there's some other things in here. We bought some things while we're away. Some oil. What have I got up here? Couple of bags of risotto rice. And we bought 3 pairs of shoes as well. So yeah, it annoys me that I can't access that with a sort of hinged top or something like that. But it does give you the opportunity, if you cut that thing out of the boot, to get rid of things that you buy on trips and then you can sort of unpack it when you get home. That's what I've learnt from over in the Project 7 for 6 years and 12,000 miles and doing these sort of trips in it. Highly practical, special car. Still feels very special, even though all the things I get to drive on many occasions. This shines out. And I think it's quite telling. My son, if he was to pick any car out of this garage, it's the Project 7, because it's sort of a do-everything car at a price point and easy to live with. There you go. That's the end of part 3 of this trip in the Project 7. Sorry it didn't go quite according to plan on the journey back. That's what happens sometimes. But hope you have enjoyed the videos anyway, and if you have, keep subscribing, keep watching. More videos coming on very soon.